Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. And this is Sophie. I'm so happy to have these four beautiful ladies here. And I'm so happy to host these sessions in GBA. And now we have five PBAs here. Take a guess what is PBA is. PBA is? What is that? Don't know? Oh, I gotta get the answer. Pretty badass woman.
Woo! To all the pretty badass women on stage and in the room.
Yeah, get a round of applause. Yeah. So maybe maybe every ladies give an introduction of yourself from Ashley.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley Xiong. So I'm the founding partner of China V Fund. Our fund is a Beijing, China-based VC fund focused on deep tech sectors in China, mostly like EVs, clean energies, semiconductors, even like materials and also advanced manufacturing. So really hard tech, deep tech. I'm one of the five co-founding partners. Four of my partners are male, and they are much older than me. So one out of five, yeah, female represent in my firm. And among all our portfolio companies, majority of our portfolio companies entrepreneur are male. That's kind of interesting perspective. But from venture capital perspective, a lot of female, professionals from different level, like from junior level, mid-level to partner level, like me. I see quite large representations in venture capital fields. So I see the observations very differently from the venture fields investing in deep tech, and also very differently from entrepreneurs who run the startup companies in deep tech sectors.
Hi, my name is Angela. I'm the co-founder for Nest Wellness. So Nest is a holistic wellness marketplace and platform to enable and empower everyone, individual and also corporate, for their wellness journey. So we offer B2B and B2C wellness services, and we do a lot of the wellness assessment for employee well-being. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everybody. I am Lavina Tauro. Unlike my esteemed colleagues here who are PBAs, I actually work for a corporate setup. I've been in the media and entertainment industry for about 24 years, 15 of them in the digital space. My experience has been across, big companies, startups, as well as, most interestingly, setting up scalable businesses in Asia. And I'm very excited to be on this panel because I deeply believe in the concept, or rather in this fundamental divide that stands for women, and as they try to kind of make their way through any sort of working environment.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Shan Yu, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of VeriVert. Our company provides sustainability solutions to the wine industry to meet the climate change challenges, actually. So believe it or not, over 30 billion bottles of wines are produced and transported worldwide every year. And over 68% of the carbon footprint actually contributed by the production, transportation, recycling of the glass bottles. So our company developed proprietary advanced technology with the sustainable materials to replace glass. So our mission is really to reduce the carbon emission and while saving cost, but without compromising the glass-like qualities and tradition. So I'm excited to be here on this panel. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the four PBAs. Is that okay? Okay, thank you for the 4 PBA's introductions. But as we know, I've been doing the VC and startup industry for like 12 years. Although I look young, but it's still. When I was like 12 years ago venturing in the VC industry, there's many stereotypes on the startup industry for women. So I want to ask 4 PBAs, what do you think is the greatest challenge in the startup world, in the digital economies for the women entrepreneurs? So maybe also starting from Ashley? Yeah.
So like I personally not in a tech startup company, but we investing in the tech industries. Every day we talk with entrepreneurs from all different stages. We investing in angel stage, VC early growth stage, and also pre-IPO stage. So majority entrepreneurs I saw really are male dominated, especially in the deep tech sectors. But I see also female role in the CFO role, CMO role, or COO role. But CEO or founder level, majority of are male. So that's something my observation is. I don't know why, what forming this like the result, like the ecosystem is like that. But I feel like as a female, investors in this environment, sometimes I really forget my gender. I emerge in a big dining table, and the majority of guys are male. And then sometimes when I see a photo, because from time to time we'll take a group photo, no matter it's after dinner or like in the board meetings after, the meeting, people take a group photo. So most of the time will be only one person, female person, who is wearing colorful dress out there. So I realized, I'm actually a female out there. So I think that, that's a challenge, is like the representation in this ecosystem, tech industry, is very low female. But the reason why, I think, is because it is more logical, more maybe like female educate people who choose the education. Less people choose tech as the major in school. So that's one of the results. But I also feel like for female investor, it's actually lower presentation out there, but it's easier. Sometimes I feel like to stand out because your competition is lower too. Sometimes when you among so many seas of male entrepreneurs, it's easier to ask, hey, let's connecting a WeChat. Let's schedule a talk. So I think it's a pros and cons. And for me, I feel like it is hard, but I think if you if you recognize who you are, how can you really connect with people, and then how can you be very professional in your industry? Still, you can find a way to succeed.
Yeah. Totally agree. As also a female VC here. So how about Angela?
So I'm a co-founder, so founding a startup is not easy, and obviously I think you guys know that there's already gender inequality in the workforce, especially in the startup workspace, right? I have heard from investor coming from Asia, from a more traditional mindset, it's like, oh, are you married? Do you have kids? Why are you doing this, right? So that's already a lot of questions that are being judged before even knowing what do you do as your startup. So I feel like that's already kind of like not fair, and especially they're like, oh, okay, so do you know do a startup is very hard? I'm like, yes, I know it's very hard, but are you gonna plan to have kids? Are you gonna have family? Are you gonna get married? So that's already a question that's being asked so many times, and I even have an investor talk to me. It's like, oh, I think you're from a pretty okay family. You're pretty good looking. Do you really need to do startup? Like straight up asking me question like this. So I think is definitely very hard. But I also believe that doing a startup, you also had to look into what industry are you in. So I'm in wellness, right? Wellness and education, helping people. As a female founder, I think I do have a lot of advantage. So I think it's not only about like what role you're playing, also what industry you're in and how you voice that out and how you communicate that. I understand that most of the startups in the tech world, they focus on deep tech or like AI or maybe more hardware. So people have that assumption of maybe it's better for male, but I think it's not necessary because I think we also see things differently. Right, depending on who's your target audience, do they have like a lot of often you want to do business with female target audience, right? So as a founder, you also need to have the insight, understand what's their product market fit, what's the consumer journey, how do you really get into that? So I think they do have a lot of quality that I think we can add on as a female founder and a female touch. So I don't think there's such a thing that this absolutely has to be male or female, but it's depending on the industry, what role you're playing, and how do you kind of like voice out and add on your advantage into it and to voice out to that. And I think that's quite important as well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Angela. And Imena?
Yeah. So, we were discussing this before, and interesting, there is this McKinsey report that comes on women in the workplace. And this is its 9th year that it's being published. And it's exactly the same report that happens year after year, which talks about women, how women at senior roles, so everybody knows about the glass ceiling, everybody knows about, because of the glass ceiling, you can't go higher. But the concept of a broken rung. So effectively what it says is that when women they don't get that break to go into that senior leadership level. That's where it's extremely difficult for women to kind of break through that first opportunity. And especially when it comes to founders, you're effectively going out into the world, telling them that you're already in that level. And because of this bias, it becomes even more difficult. So that's your challenge to start with. Secondly, like she pointed out, it's about the industry that you're talking about. That makes a huge difference because different industries, when it comes to, there is a bias against men as well. So, when you see a male nurse versus a female nurse or a male teacher versus a female teacher, you have these biases. But a chef versus a woman cooking at home, very different. So we have these inherent biases which kind of keep coming out. And especially with COVID, if I were to give you one example, the reason why women started dropping out of workforce was because COVID, it hit everybody. There was just so much to do. But the way it's been portrayed is that women are less ambitious. In fact, they're not less ambitious. They just have so much more to do. And I think the challenge is, apart from getting women to kind of making it easier for women to continue, whether it's in their startup journey or anywhere other than the home environment, I think that's a challenge, which is a collective challenge. And unless you work on your biases, it may be very, very difficult to break. But it's getting there. But it's going to take more time than we're hoping it would.
Yeah, it's still improved. Yeah.
Thank you. So I definitely agree with all the comments that the ladies made. And as an investor myself in my prior career and now become an entrepreneur, and I can share some statistics. And so according to PitchBook, in last year, the companies solely founded by women entrepreneurs garnered merely 2% of the total capital invested in the VC-backed startups. And that's in US, right, that figure. And the percentage is actually lower in Europe and only 0.9%. And you could imagine the rest of the world, right? So, but if you paired up with other male founders, then that number actually increased significantly to 16.5 and 12.2% respectively. So there's a huge gap we need to bridge. But on the bright side is that we do see the women-led VC funds is rising over the past few years. And so hopefully, the funding is available to women entrepreneurs is heading to the right direction. So the other challenge that I would like to mention is really manifested just in the digital economy, which is the informational noise. And that may not just apply to women entrepreneurs, and and it also applies to just entrepreneurs in general. And given the digital economy, and we really need to filter out the signals to noises, and we need to really focus on what we're good at, what are our core competence, but also most importantly is what are our passions.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can't agree more on that, because when I was inside AVC industry, I also found there's many stereotypes of not also women, but women and men. For example, like when the founders, for example, like in wellness and in, for example, like the healthcares or something like that, or even educations or the fashion industry, we see a more trend to select the female founders. But in the digital economy, in the tech industry, they are more trying to select the male founders. Yeah, and I'm also studying the material science, and I come from like nearly a monk class, which means we only have 3 ladies in one class, although there's 70 people. Yeah. So one more questions. How can we improve the diversities and inclusivities in the tech startup industry? Maybe also starting from Ashley.
Sure. I think that's like entire macro, problems. Like won't be able to be changed by a person overnight. But what I think is like really play a very important role, a role model for the junior female colleagues or peers who can follow, look up to you, or who you can be a mentor with. For example, like we have quite a few female associates, investment managers in my team. And so they always come to me and say, hey, Ashley, you're my role model, because you can be like, you love life. I mean, you like to ski, you like to travel, and you also like a good investor, you fundraising, so you also a social, So it seems you are quite fun. You have a lot of life. It's not like stereotype of female investors who dress like a man, who talk like a man. You're actually quite feminine. So I feel like, that's like a role model, powerful role model. I feel like I'm still not perfect, but I feel like in a small circle, I started to influence people around me. So I think that's something, when I grow up, I mean, in the process of my career, I feel like I'm lacking I'm lacking the female mentors, like role models, who I can seek as suggestions from. Because when I left Goldman like 8 years ago, I quit Goldman 8 years ago. At that time, I have so many mentors to help me back in my previous companies. But once I left Goldman and I became the founder, I feel like I just don't know who should I ask the suggestion from, especially female. Majority of females around me who either give up their careers and then become a full-time house mom, or people who just give up families and then become a full-time professionals. So I don't really see a lot of good examples, female role models who really can balance, who have a very good family, happy family, also have a great career. So I feel like you can see a lot in men, male professional, male executives. But for female, like people just always think that, oh, if you are, you must be single, you must be like not happy because you work so hard and you travel so much. So I feel like be a role model is really important, even you just influence one or two people around you. So I think this is one. And second is like seeking the supporting system around you, even though that supporting system is very small. For example, when I dated with my boyfriend, I told him that I want to be my dream. I want to be a professional woman. I probably won't be I would definitely want to be a housewife. I will travel a lot. I will have a lot of work meetings, working dinner. Can you accept that? And you always have to support me. If you won't, maybe you won't work out. So that's like the red line. And he always respects that. So I think that supporting system in the family with supporting partners, supporting parents who can take care of the kids, that's also very important. It's like a nurturing system for female entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah. So having a role model and having a supporting partner, right?
So I think in order to increase the gender equality is inclusive, I think it's also a lot based on what is the strength, right? I feel like as a female founder or as doesn't matter what role you're playing, I also think it's about a balance. Because I think, yes, we design in different way physically and also the way we think, the way we approach things are differently. So I think it's also thinking about like, what's everyone's strength? And how do we place on the right people with the right strength at the right position? I think that's very important. So I think instead of having that gender bias, actually we should look into like what can everyone do, what's everyone is offering, and which industry you're in. And also at the same time, I think it's to encourage a balance. I think it's good to have the debate, the challenge. It's just like in the family, right? There's always a debate between mom and the dad, right? But they have different perspectives. So I think bringing perspectives is very important. So I think this should be definitely encouraged in the tech industry. And it doesn't matter if it's in the startup founders or the investor, because having perspective is that's how the world actually run, right? So I think invited everyone to give their point of view and using the strength and the quality of who is good at what to place it in the right position. I think that's more important.
Balance and bring perspective, right? Good points.
I think the way you change something like this is you include the other gender in the conversation. So I feel usually what happens is when we're talking about Women's Day or it's either HR or, women are talking to women about women are talking to women of how we change this. Ideally, it should be women and men talking about how you change it. And I think unless you have men included into the conversation, it's always going to be where you're telling them rather than including them. So that's one. Second, I do believe that, you do need a support system because there aren't enough role models. If I look at my career path and if I look at, who is a role model for me, who I would have looked up to, unfortunately, I can't think of too many. And it's very important how you kind of do that. And today, there are a lot of these concepts of, I am worthy and, a lot of things that you're getting women to do, but it's not leading into opening that funnel for them purely because it's being discussed within a very small group of only women. And I think you need, change has to be led, unfortunately, a change like this from the top. So unless it cascades down in some manner where people appreciate the change, it's going to be difficult. And I do have to say that there have been, things been done in that direction, wherein, some good, some not so good, but at the end of the day, you are seeing change. It'll take time, but at least we're having a conversation about it today. It's not been done before.
Yeah, I think it's very important, and because I have attended a lot of female talk, there's mostly female, but today I think there's a lot of males as well. Please support your wife and also support your girlfriend. Please do that. And you said?
Sure. It is fundamental to promote and encourage higher education in women and other underrepresented group so that we can have a meaningful conversation with our counterparts. And also, it is important to bring the voice of successful women leaders to the policy-making table and leveling, the playing field, so that, we can encourage the gender equality and inclusivity. And the other thing that, I can think of, I kind of, lost it at the moment, but if I remember later, okay, I can speak of it. But yeah, I think, that's it for now.
Okay. Thank you for the great PBAs. And also, one last sentence, a word advice that you want to, give to the female entrepreneurs. Also starting from Ashley.
I think that for female entrepreneurs, I think it's like really know who you are and what you are good at that, and following what you're good at that, and no need to think too much about your gender. Just searching from internally what's your passion is, and how can you do that better than other people.
Good advice. Finding your strengths.
So I think for me, I will recommend other female entrepreneurs saying, know your reason why. Why are you doing this? Follow your heart and keep trying.
Yes. Follow your heart, right?
Yes. I think my advice is, if you don't ask, the answer is no. So.
Okay, I will make it longer than just one sentence because I just remember what I was going to talk about. But so yeah, I want to mention that, back at Stanford GSB, and we had a class in women in leadership. And they introduced a concept of accessibility, or, accessible leadership, which means, basically empowering others, right? The most powerful tool is to empower others to their leadership potential, by providing them with mentorship, sponsorship, and giving. So basically, it's two-way, right? And it's the same logic of building allyship with other underrepresented and the marginal group, so that you can join force. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the great talks from the advice from our 4 PBAs. Let's give a round of applause for her and for them. Thank you.